Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Benjamin and today we're going to be talking about editing techniques. But before we do that, be sure to hit the subscribe button and turn the notification bell on to see more videos like this. Today we're going to be talking about editing techniques. Now these techniques are used throughout the industry and are used in various different ways to create an interesting edit. First we're going to look at the establishing shot. Now these are usually used when you want to show the audience where you are. And normally they're at the beginning or the introduction of the scene as a whole. But sometimes these can be executed in a creative way, for example if the director wants to introduce the character in a really interesting way. But usually they're just used to show the location. For example, like the beginning of Stranger Things in season 1, you see the camera panning down from the night sky over Hawkins' lab. The second technique we're going to look at is the 180-degree rule. Now this is a big rule where the camera has to stay on an invisible line drawn between the two characters inside the scene. This is done so that the audience doesn't get disorientated when the camera is cutting between the two different angles. The channel cinecom.net did an amazing video on this, and so the link will be in the description below and in the card.
Maryland?
What's there?
I mean, I don't know. Evil lair?
You have a lair?
Dude, a gang with alien guns run by a guy with wings? Yeah, they have a lair.
Badass.
Was there any indication of a change in activities before they let you go? Sergeant said they wanted someone more professional to work on this case.
They just thought I was incapable due to my past.
Now the only time that you can break this rule is if the camera physically moves from one side of the line to the other side. This is so it doesn't get too disorientating for them. The next technique that we're going to use is the 30-degree rule. Now this is used in conjunction with the 180-degree rule. Here we see the camera moving from one position to another in the next cut.
We've got what we call the Cambridge Technical Level 3. And we've got an A-level.
But we have to move the camera at least 30 degrees either left or right so it doesn't look like a jump cut. Now this is a technique that we're going to get onto slightly later on in the video. Now let's move on to shot, reverse, shot. Now this is the act of having the camera focus on one subject in the frame and then flip so the audience can see what the subject is seeing. The first example comes from Stranger Things when Nancy is backing away from the monster from the upside down but accidentally steps on a vine. We see her face and then what she sees and then back to her running away. The same with my film Don't Look Now. You have myself as the subject and then the reverse of that as someone is walking by and is wondering what's going on. Then they suddenly pop out of existence and then you cut back to my reaction of what's just happened. Match cut. This is where you have something inside the frame that is then similarly mirrored in the next cut. Like in these examples here, we're changing from a dream state to the real world where Danny and his group the T-Birds are singing about grease lightning and it suddenly cuts to what they're actually working with.
Come on guys, let's get to work.
He is here to help us.
And my match cut from the 72-hour challenge where the bipolar patient is sitting outside but then suddenly cuts to him inside the meeting. There is also another technique called match on action. Now this is where we have the subject inside the frame doing an action and we simply just cut when they are completing that action. Like for example a kick or a punch.
So, I'll see you next time.
This is so easy, any of you could do it. Cross-cutting is the act of cutting between two different places where different scenes are happening, but at the same point in time. This is usually just based on the edit itself.
Garbage man?
Negative. Oh Jesus, he's reaching for something.
Here we have Jason Bourne instructing someone what to do, but they're in different locations. So the editor is choosing to cut back and forth very fast, which is also upping the tension in the scene.
He's still talking with somebody.
He's getting instructions. Jimmy, get me the conversation.
What do you know?
A similar effect is created in my short noir film, where we're cutting between two different locations with two different storylines happening at the same time. Parallel editing. Now this is cross-cutting, but in a different form. Parallel editing, like cross-cutting, is the act of cutting between two different locations where things are happening at the same time. But this is different from cross-cutting because they mirror each other regarding the narrative as well. Looking at the 1931 German film M, where there is a serial killer on the loose and it is affecting everyone, we have the police who decide to have a meeting about it, but the criminal underworld of Germany also decide to have a meeting about it. And so this is the technique of cross-cutting, but due to the narrative link between the two different places, it is considered parallel editing. The eyeline match. This is a technique that requires the DOP to match the camera with the subject's eyeline, creating the effect that the camera has become the character's eyes, so the audience get to see what the character is seeing from their point of view. This is similar to the shot reverse shot we looked at a couple of techniques ago, but in this example here, from Star Wars Phantom Menace, Obi-Wan is looking at Darth Maul and Darth Maul is looking at Obi-Wan, and they cut back between the two.
How have you found it, lady?
We
Fine.
are one. I don't like the way.
Cut-in and cutaways are used to show little nuances and details that are happening in the scene that you wouldn't otherwise see from the main camera perspective. These can be used in several different ways, for example to show something that is happening off screen, or to show that the character is looking at something else in the scene. Now these are usually very short clips that go over the main part of your footage. Now, the jump cut is the act of cutting between one take to another. These are widely used in YouTube videos like this. The technique usually suggests that there has been a passage of time, and so objects in the scene or the character is jumping between different locations. Like in this example from Little Shop of Horrors, where all three of the characters inside are waiting for customers to come into their shop, but no one's coming, and so they show the passage of time through all the different characters changing positions. The final technique we're going to talk about today are montages. Now montages are used by the filmmaker Edgar Wright and in the films that he made. He cleverly combines many different clips into fast-paced sequences, conveying many different elements like story, character and location.
Player 2 has entered the game.
And you got work.
Player 2 has left the game.
You do know the front door was open again last night. I'm not saying it was you.
I know, man.
I'm saying it was Ed.
Right.
Montages are the uses of jump cuts used in succession. You will see these utilised in sports films where the main character is maybe training for a fight by jogging, and then they do some boxing, and then they do some push-ups, and then they do some sit-ups. And so the editor will show that the character is doing all these different things by having consecutive cuts of all the different activities they may be doing, hence creating a montage. And with that, that concludes this video. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please be sure to drop a like, hit that subscribe button, and turn that notification bell on so you know every time I upload. Thank you for watching. Oh wow, I really need to eat, my belly is grumbling.